and welcome to another episode of Ballgowns and Booze. I'm Elouise and I'm here with the glorious Natalie, the beautiful face behind Verwood Estate Wines. We're in their beautiful kitchen once again, cooking a chicken with a citrus reduction.
Thank you, Elouise. Before we start, let's have a glass of our 2019 Chardonnay, because I don't know about you, you're seasoned at this now, but I'm very nervous. And there's nothing better to calm the nerves than a lovely glass of Chardonnay.
Wine always helps.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now I know this is my wine, so of course I'm going to say it's fabulous. But I don't normally drink Chardonnay, and it is very smooth, and that's what I found. I have to compliment our winemaker Michelle Crockett. When we were choosing winemakers in the area to make our wine, there's lots of beautiful, fabulous winemakers in the Southern Highlands, and I do recommend you come and have a look. But Michelle brought a bottle of Chardonnay that she had made at another vineyard, and not liking Chardonnay, it's a bit dry for my taste. Absolutely loved it, so that was the cincher for us to choose Michelle, and she has done the same fabulous job with our Chardonnay.
She's done a really good job.
Michelle.
I actually don't usually like Chardonnay that much, so I was nervous trying it.
Yeah,
but
it is nice.
It's really smooth, really
it's
smooth.
easy, and it doesn't have the. And Teddy will tell you more about it, but it doesn't have that acidic bite aftertaste that I'm not a fan of. So what are we doing? We're doing Chardonnay reduction.
Yeah.
Recipe picked by Teddy. He's going to do the taste testing afterwards. So we gave Teddy the challenge. He is a French sommelier, to do some food wine matching for our Chardonnay. And we all know white wine, white meat, so chicken, and anyway, I won't spoil Teddy's thunder by telling you about the wine and the chicken. So what are we doing first, Elouise?
So we're going to do chicken with a citrus reduction. So first of all, we are going to get the onion. It says shallot, and this we had a bit of a debate over. What is a shallot? Because
Shallot?
there's lots of different versions. I would call that a spring onion, but some people call it a shallot.
I thought it was a shallot, but the tag said spring onion. We googled shallot and spring onion, and they came up with many varieties. But we've gone with the red onion because it has more flavour.
I think that's going to go better with the chicken.
So
we're just going to chop it up. And hopefully not cry too much.
if my cousin Lana is watching, she's tried to teach me. She is a chef, or one of those fabulous home cooking mums, and she tried to teach me how to chop really cool, and it just didn't work. So you can see I'm a bit awkward.
So you want to chop it quite finely. I'll probably go chop it in half. You know what I actually find a lot easier? Kmart, $9 onion chopper. It changes your life. And you want to make sure you have a nice sharp knife. And then if you want to do it fine, I would go like that. Probably need something a bit sharper.
This one might be sharp, I think. We sharpened it.
And then that just makes life a little bit easier. And you want to make sure it's quite fine because you don't want huge chunks of onion in
What did
this.
she do? She did this. She went like this.
Yeah, so chop it but not the whole way. Yeah, so into the little, and then it just makes it a bit easier.
I'm the older mum who's meant to be teaching you things.
Well, you've taught me many other things since I've been here, so I'll let you off.
Cheers.
And you just want it nice and fine.
See, that's what I can't do.
The kind of gliding.
Yeah. I don't have the grace with a knife.
That's fine. Some people are amazing. Some people are like. And
Let me see, hold up.
I've got the fear of cutting my fingers. This one's probably a lot easier. But you just kind of want to go like that.
Oh, I'm crying.
And then maybe if we just make this
You
a
fix
little
that
bit
up.
finer.
comedy in the kitchen.
And we've got lots of onion, which I love onion. I think it adds so much flavour. Okay, so now we're just going to brown the shallot, or red onion, as we have, in some olive oil. So we want to heat
sponsored by, no, we're not sponsored by, but this saucepan is a Neo Flam. I specifically got it from barrel, raw and wild. It's non-toxic, so for me that's really important when you're cooking your food and we have these horrible toxic saucepans that just leaks into our food. So get yourself, if you care about your family's health, go to barrel, raw and wild and get yourself a Neo Flam saucepan.
Amazing, and I love the colour.
Pretty too, yes.
Very pretty. So we're going to do this on a medium-high heat, just with some olive oil. I always think you can kind of add as much olive oil as you want. As long as it's good olive oil, then it's fine. And we just let that heat up for a moment and then we'll add the onions. So we're just going to chuck these onions in here. The oil's warm but not too hot, so there's a small sizzle, but you don't want anything scorching. And lots of onions because we like onions. And then just keep an eye on them and make sure they're fully coated in oil. You can always add more oil if you need to, it's fine. It will reduce at the end. So they'll be fine to leave for, as I say, about 8 to 10 minutes, but just make sure you keep an eye. So now we're going to zest some clementines and lemon.
I had no idea what clementines were, apparently they're mandarins.
I think there's lots of different types. There's a tangerine, mandarin, clementine, then you obviously have your orange, blood orange. There's loads of different ones. But I must admit I haven't squeezed a clementine because it's in segments. So we'll see how this goes. And obviously you can try it yourself. And I think you could use a different type of orange if you prefer a blood orange. That would give it a bit of a different colour, something a bit more red. So if you want it to look a bit more exotic. And we just want to get that nice fresh zest, which will give it loads of flavour. The zest is actually the strongest flavour of the lemon, so it will do a lot more than what the juice will. I like citrus in my food.
I'm not a huge fan of citrus flavour, but I like the smell.
Yeah, it smells really good, doesn't it? Such a strong smell as well. So that should probably do us.
While you're zesting,
and we just need.
So we're doing lemon and then a clementine.
To get this
Clementine sounds very English, or is it a French word?
Oh, I don't actually know. We need to ask Teddy that. Hopefully you'll have a better zester than us. So we're just keeping an eye on the onions. We really don't want them to burn because it will ruin the whole dish really. And if you want to turn it on a low heat, if you're taking the cooking slowly and enjoying some wine or something, then absolutely fine. Onions can be cooked on a low heat as well. And they look okay. They need probably another 5 minutes or so.
Elouise?
Yes.
Did you know the roast chicken is a dish that we owe to King Henry IV? He was a big fan of chicken in the pot. Indeed, this dish is the ancestor of our Sunday chicken. The sovereign also wanted every household to be able to enjoy the juicy flesh of the poultry every Sunday. So cheers, King Henry. Over the years, the chicken no longer needed to be broiled and began to be roasted and broiled. Napoleon made sure he always had them on the fire so he could enjoy them at each meal. Today, it is one of the family dishes par excellence, which everyone enjoys eating on a Sunday.
I love a Sunday roast.
So do I.
Reminds me of home. Reminds me of home.
So now I go into juice. Oh,
yeah.
it's a teary.
They are. It's the onion.
Aww.
I know, sensitive eyes. So we're going to juice the clementines and the lemon.
So, yeah, okay. How does this work?
And try and not get it on our Ballgowns.
Oh, you just squeeze little baby juices, little baby bits.
Little segments. and this will add a lot of flavour. And we're going to be adding some cream, which will be nice.
Does it matter if we have bits in there?
And bits are fine, just no seeds. So the shallots look like they're pretty much there, so I'm probably going to take them off the heat just while I prep everything else and bring it over so that I'm ready. We want them nice and soft, and they start to become slightly translucent, and that's how you can tell when they're cooked. So we're just going to take this off the heat, but just make sure to not burn them. Okay, so now we have the lemon and clementine zest and the juice. We're going to take this over to the pan, and we're going to add this in, and we also need a vegetable stock cube, and this will give it a lot of flavour. You can also use a chicken stock cube, adds even more flavour.
It does say to add the zest and the white wine, let that evaporate before we add the lemon juice and broth.
But we'll bring it over, and then we're all prepared. So we need our wine as well. So now we're just going to take over the ingredients. So we've got the lemon and clementine zest, we've got a vegetable stock cube, the juice from the lemon and clementine, and some lovely wine.
Now normally it would be a sin to cook with such beautiful wine.
It would, so I'd rather drink it.
Yes, we have it on hand.
So we're going to heat this back up. If you're quick, then you would have already had this going. And what we're going to do is just pop in the zest, and this will give it that nice acidity. And you probably want this on a medium-high heat again, and just let that soak up. Just going to let it heat up for a moment. Okay, so we've just let that soak in, and you're starting to smell the lemon zest and the clementine, so you have all those nice aromas. Now we're going to add some wine. I'm just going to add a nice dash of wine, and that will just deglaze this, and you want it to evaporate and let the onions soak up those glorious flavours. And this is where you need it on a decent heat, otherwise it will take a very long time.
So we are deglazing the white wine, letting it evaporate, then add the lemon juice, clementine and broth cube, and leave to reduce.
Yeah. And this smells delicious. It smells really nice. You can smell the wine and the...
Oh, that does smell good.
It smells really good.
It's so good.
Yeah, but you want to make sure that you don't burn it. So it's something that you need to be keeping an eye on. I'd probably say don't leave the pan.
Not known in our family as being a very patient chef. And I made the mistake of watching Julie and Julia, or Julia and Julie, the cooking show. And they cook beef. What is it again, Teddy?
Bourguignon.
Beef bourguignon.
I can never pronounce it.
Beef bourguignon. And my husband wanted me to cook beef bourguignon, and it is a really it's just beef stew, but it is a really detailed recipe, and it took me all day. And the Aries in me who just likes to get in there, get the job done, and move on, was frustrated.
Yeah.
But it tasted so good.
It's so worth it sometimes.
It was,
and then
yes.
you've kind of built up that hunger.
Yeah, and we nearly got divorced over it because it was a very high pressure cooking experience.
It's a really tricky one, because especially for something that is basically a stew.
It's a stew, but it was so
it's all
hard.
the little details
Yeah.
and so many flavours added.
But it was so yummy.
We want this to pretty much all evaporate, and it will thicken up quite a lot. I can smell the wine, but not strong, not harsh. The onions have kind of softened, and they don't have such a strong flavour.
Citrus.
Very subtle.
And the wine, yes. But Teddy did very well to pick the citrus in the Chardonnay. I think we'll find that it matches it beautifully.
So this is thickened up really nicely, and the wine's evaporated. The onions have soaked in all of that goodness. We're just now going to add the juice of clementines and the lemon. And then we're also going to add a stock cube. And you can just chuck that in. Don't really need to crumble it, because when we bring it to the boil, it will all break up anyway. So we're going to turn that up. And then we're going to bring it to the boil. And you just want to break up that stock cube as you go. So we want to bring this to a boil and then turn it down. And then we're going to leave it there to simmer for a while we prep our chicken.
I've been a very good assistant and kept your glass.
You haven't.
My apologies.
Thank you. It's okay. All is fixed.
So now we're going to cook the chicken, sliced up into pieces. There we go. And we're going to brown them with olive oil. So I'm not so patient with cooking, so this requires patience and doing a few pieces at a time. Is it better, not Elouise, rather?
Yeah.
If I was cooking for myself and my family, I'd just plonk it all in and just mix it all up. And some would be really cooked and some would be overcooked. But
Chicken mix.
we are now doing it Julia style and taking our time. It's a meditative practice. Cook the chicken, cooking the chicken. Yeah, so we're just getting we're having a discussion off camera about what appropriate cooking is. So for me, I say that's still too white, and I'm going for a brown. My younger and more wiser colleague Elouise
I don't know about that.
says that it's ready.
I'd say,
But I'm just going to let it brown
Always,
lightly like this. Yeah?
cut it open, yeah. Cut it open and make sure if you're worried about it being undercooked or
Chicken, my
something.
husband is very, very fussy on making sure the chicken is well cooked.
Yeah, this is still cooking, but it's starting to look really nice. All of the colours are coming out. You can see all the pinks and the oranges, and you can smell all of the flavours.
I would have read that recipe and I would never have taken the time to do it as slow and as patiently as you have, and that looks beautiful.
It looks really nice. So I'm looking forward to trying it. It's nearly reduced as much as we would like, because we want it to get really thick, and then we're going to pour some cream in, and that'll create a really nice sauce to go on top of our chicken.
If I may recommend to everybody that you do something that gets you out of your comfort zone. So being on camera and cooking in a ballgown is definitely out of my shoes. How full of those shoes?
Farmer at heart.
Definitely out of my comfort zone. But it is quite free. So there's my tidbit. So some sea salt. If anyone is still using table salt or processed salt, just pick it up, walk over to the bin and drop it. Sea salt. Tasmanian sea salt is fabulous. Support Aussie food, and particularly small businesses and farmers wherever we can. As soon as the sauce is reduced to dryness and there is no more juice, then we add the cream and relax the sauce. Does that mean I have to chant and hum to it again?
I think
What does relax the sauce mean?
So just let it sit.
Let
Put
it
it down,
sit.
let it sit, let it do its thing, soak up all the flavours. So I'd say that most of the sauce has evaporated and we're just left with some delicious onions.
So you've turned it right
I want to
down.
turn it down, and I'd probably let it cool for a second as well, take it off the hot pan. Otherwise the cream will burn, and then you'll just have a burnt flavour, which...
How does it still smell? Oh, that smells so nice.
Yeah.
For something so simple.
And the onions have just soaked everything up, so...
The shallots.
The shallots, our fake shallots.
Shallots.
Shallots in disguise.
So this is obviously a French recipe because it's got cream. French love to cook with cream, don't they?
They do.
How are they all so skinny? Petite.
I don't know, especially wine, cream, butter. You can see
now they
the
relax
colour
Cool.
poking through, which is really nice with the cream. But we want to warm it up a bit so we can serve it on the chicken. And warm us up in this cold day. Okay, so now we're just going to plate this up and make it look a bit pretty.
I'm hopeless at this.
Oh,
Can you
I'm going to give it a go.
give any tricks or any pointers?
So I would
Using
say
a fresh dish.
using a fresh dish, because this has got all the oil, and we've let the chicken rest, so it'll be nice and tender. I would say if you want to serve something up, always just add some garnish, because you need a bit of colour. Some dishes are already quite colourful, but this one's quite beige, so I would add some garnish to this. We've let this warm up for a bit, and we're gonna give it a go. Oops. I think that's delicious.
Oh, that's yummy.
Loads of flavour, but still creamy, which gives it that richness. You probably don't actually need too much of the sauce.
Now, I saw our previous episode of Ballgowns and Booze, and fabulous Carl
Did a great job.
drizzled on so beautifully. So, having learnt from Carl, how much do we want?
I mean, I like my sauce, so
I like my sauce
I can just
too.
have things coated, but that's probably enough. We can always serve it on the side as well.
So, I'm just chopping some spring onion for garnish, and
Bit of garnish.
my esteemed colleague has told me not to go from this end because we don't eat the end.
I mean, some people do, but it's also a lot easier to chop from that side up, and that's kind of the best bit. And we're going to garnish it with some of the zest, just to give it a bit of extra flavour. And that really citrusy, fresh taste. So then we're going to garnish with the spring onion. And I think that's us done. Ready to eat.
Oh,
It's
beautiful!
quite pretty, doesn't it?
That does look nice.
So we've just finished cooking this chicken and citrus reduction with Elouise, and we're joined with Sarah, who has also done an episode with the sparkling Shiraz of Ballgowns and Booze. If this is your first episode of Ballgowns and Booze, let me introduce you to Teddy, Verwood Estate Sommelier.
Hello.
Over to you, Teddy.
So, with this magnifique mead, I propose you Chardonnay Verwood Estate 2019, your first vintage. So before to taste the mead, I propose to do a wine tasting with my team.
Yeah,
So,
okay. So we swirl it around.
yeah,
And what does that do?
yeah. Before to smell, just you need to turn around your glasses to intensive aromas. Okay. Do you like? What do you smell?
Fresh. Really fresh.
Yeah.
Very clean and crisp.
Yeah, it's very clean, intensive and expressive wine. I can smell stone fruits like peach, apricot, but I can smell too fresh lime citrus. It's very, very interesting.
Oh, so it should go well with our dish because we've got some citrus.
Yeah,
in
of
that,
course.
And is that why you picked this dish? Obviously, Freddie picked the dish. Now, I was taught that you should match white wine with white meats. Is that still the case, or has that changed?
Yeah, I'm for the recipe on the wine. I'm looking the recipe with aromatic like citrus, like a citrus reduction for to go with the wine. This wine with aromas, very aromas like a stone fruit, peach, apricot, and citrus.
Would you have a beef with the Chardonnay?
It's complex to drink a beef with Chardonnay because beef it's a red meat. It depends on the sauce, but with a white wine, with this Chardonnay, it's very fresh and aromatic and primary characteristic aromas. I prefer to advise white or fish or seafood. It's very interesting.
Okay.
For the aperitif, it's very nice too.
Okay. Sorry.
So you do it properly.
that, yeah.
You do it properly.
Let me
We
try.
need to learn.
Yes.
That's good!
I don't
Very
know whether-
graceful, darling.
Just you need to open your mouth just a little bit and you...
It's tricky.
So what do you think about the wine?
It is very smooth. I've already, we had it before. And
Yeah,
lovely.
we've been
It was
enjoying
nice.
it whilst we were cooking.
Yeah.
So
You tried
we're
before?
lucky. We tried.
A bit.
What do you think, Sarah?
I think it's really nice. It's really fresh and smooth.
do you normally drink Chardonnay?
Shiraz would be my favourite wine.
Yes, yes. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So we've got non-Chardonnay drinkers
Yes,
and a Chardonnay
Chardonnay.
drinker, and we all say salut.
So it's a
Salut.
it's a very nice Chardonnay because we are located in the very cold climate. We are located in the Southern Highlands.
Southern Highlands.
Highlands, sorry
Well
for my
done.
French accent.
Never
Southern
apologise.
Highlands.
Accent.
And it's very interesting because you have the very fresh fruit and very fresh lime citron all on the palate. And we have a very well balanced wine between acidity, alcohol, and we have a palate ample. So it's very interesting and fresh. I like this wine.
Yay.
Cheers. Hopefully you like the food that we've cooked.
Try
Yeah, we need to try.
We'll see.
Try our chicken now.
Yes. Very
So-
eager to try.
This is the
I
cream
can wait.
sauce.
We're hogging it from Sarah.
I'll just take this dish.
It's yummy.
That's nice.
Really nice and fresh. I can taste all of the citrus fruits come through, but they're not too harsh. I was a bit worried about all the zest being too much.
Did you try it with the Chardonnay?
Yes, I have to
Have
have
you
another mouthful.
haven't had a mouthful?
It complements the wine really good.
The sauce is very interesting because we have fresh lime citrus in the sauce, and we can find this sauce in the wine, the same aromas. So it's very interesting and good
Yeah.
pairing.
I'm finding it makes it's the Chardonnay is tasting after with eating that perhaps more dry and slightly more acidic in a nice way. Does that make sense? No?
Yes, see, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
I
So it's
think they
tasting
complement
yeah,
together
like,
so
in
well.
a beautiful way, but
Mm.
it's tasting more like so our Chardonnay is very smooth
Yeah.
and doesn't have a acidic afterbite. So this, when I have it with the chicken, it's kind of tasting more like a traditional Chardonnay, that is a bit stronger in the Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when the meat is very hot with the sauce, it's maybe more interesting because you have the contrast between freshness of the wine and the hot sauce,
Yep.
and can contrast. So
Fabulous. Well, I give
Delicious.
this a 5 stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.